is a neuromuscular junction? It is the place where motor neurons communicate directly with the muscle fiber to initiate a contraction of a muscle. The motor neuron is located in the spinal cord. Its axon projects outside the spinal cord to directly or indirectly control effector organs, mainly muscles and glands. The axon terminal specializes in releasing the neurotransmitters. The synaptic vesicle is a neurotransmitter transporter which is responsible for loading ACH, or acetylcholine. The acetylcholine, or the ACH, is a neurotransmitter that helps with the contraction of cardiac, skeletal, and smooth muscles. The synaptic cleft is the space between the neurons at a nerve sympaths across which a nerve impulse is transmitted by a neurotransmitter. The motor end plate is the large and complex terminal formation by which the axon of a motor neuron establishes synaptic contact with the striated muscle fiber. This formation includes, but is not limited to, the sarcolemma, the junctional folds, and the ACH receptor sites. The sarcolemma is a specialized cell membrane which surrounds the striated muscle fiber cells. The sarcolemma is similar to a plasma membrane, but it has specialized functions for a muscle cell. Junctional fold is the site of the communication between the motor neuron axons and the muscle fibers. The acetylcholine receptor sites bind the acetylcholine and transmit its signal. What is a synapse? A synapse is a gap between the two neurons. The gap between the motor neuron and the muscle fiber, remember, is called the synaptic cleft. If the motor neuron and the muscle do not touch, how do they communicate? It begins when an electrical signal or action potential is sent from the brain through the spinal cord. It travels down the axon of the motor neuron to the axon terminal. Inside the axon terminal are vesicles that contain the neurotransmitter molecule ACH, or acetylcholine. The neuron will use the ACH to transmit the message between the axon terminal and the motor end plate. The signal reaching the axon terminal causes an influx of calcium ions into the axon terminal. The calcium causes the ACH-filled vesicles to fuse to the axon terminal membrane. Through the process of exocytosis, the vesicles release the ACH into the synaptic cleft. The acetylcholine is drawn to the motor end plate and binds with the nicotine acetylcholine receptors. This causes ion channels to open and sodium comes into the muscle cell. This sodium generates the action potential, which results in a contraction of the muscle.